Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to break down Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is a book that has, no joke, completely changed the game for millions of people when it comes to self-improvement and, actually making changes that stick.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels? You set a big goal, maybe a New Year's resolution, you give it your all for a few weeks, and then, poof, you're right back where you started. It's so frustrating.
Well, James Clear has this perfect name for that feeling. He calls it the Valley of Disappointment. It's that phase where you are making progress, but you just can't see it yet. Think about it like this. Imagine an ice cube in a room. The temperature goes from 25 degrees to 26, 27, all the way to 31. From the outside, nothing is happening. But then it hits 32 degrees and boom, it starts to melt. That breakthrough wasn't sudden. It was the result of all that invisible work that came before it.
And if you want to see the math behind that, get ready for this because it's staggering. The book shows the unbelievable power of compounding small gains. If you just get 1% better every single day, at the end of the year, you're not 365% better, you are nearly 38 times better. It's all about that slow, steady climb. Okay, so this brings us to one of the biggest, most counterintuitive ideas in the whole book. We need to forget about setting goals and focus on building systems instead. This kind of flips everything we've ever been taught about success on its head. We're always told, set big goals, dream big. But Clear says, hang on, goals are just the finish line. The system is the race itself. It's the process that gets you there. And here's the problem with focusing only on goals. First, winners and losers, they often have the exact same goals. Every team in the championship wants to win the trophy. And second, achieving a goal is just a fleeting moment. The system is what delivers results again and again.
And this all boils down to one of the most powerful lines from the book. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Wow, just let that sink in. Your daily process, your habits, that's what truly determines your success. Way more than whatever outcome you're hoping for.
Okay, so systems are everything. But what makes a system actually work? This is where things get really deep. This is probably the most profound idea in the book. You have to change your identity first. Lasting change doesn't start with what you do, it starts with who you believe you are.
So think of it like this. Clear lays out 3 layers to how we change. On the outside ring, you have your outcomes, the results, like losing weight. The middle ring is your process, the habits, like going to the gym. But at the very center, at the core, is your identity, what you believe about yourself. Most of us try to change from the outside in, but that's backwards. True, lasting change happens from the inside out.
And here's how you put that into practice. Clear says every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. So going to the gym isn't just about burning calories. It's you casting a vote that says, I'm the kind of person who is fit. Writing just one paragraph is a vote for, I'm a writer. These tiny votes build up over time and create this mountain of evidence for your new identity. So if every little thing you do is a vote for who you want to be, how do you make sure you're, winning the election? That's where we get to the really practical nuts and bolts part of the book, the 4 laws framework. This is your step-by-step guide to designing habits that actually work. But before we get to the laws, we have to understand the basic engine behind every single habit you have, good or bad. It's a 4-step loop. It starts with a cue, that's the trigger. That leads to a craving, the motivation. Then comes the response, the habit itself. And finally, the reward, which tells your brain, hey, that was good, let's do it again. Every habit follows this pattern. Okay, law number 1. This one tackles that very first step, the cue. And the rule is super simple. If you want to build a good habit, you have to make it obvious.
So what does that actually look like? Well, first, just become aware of what you're already doing. Then get super specific. Don't just say, I'll read more. Say, I will read for 10 minutes at 9 p.m. on the couch. But the real magic is designing your environment. Want to drink more water? Leave a water bottle on your desk. Want to practice guitar? Don't hide it in the closet. Put it on a stand right in the middle of your living room. Make the cue impossible to ignore. All right, on to law number 2. This one is all about tackling that craving. To get a habit to stick, you've got to make it attractive. I mean, it's just common sense, right? We're way more likely to do something if we actually want to do it. And he has this brilliant trick for this called temptation bundling. It's where you pair an action you want to do with an action you need to do. For example, you only let yourself watch your favorite Netflix show while you're on the treadmill. Another huge one, join a group where the habit you want is just normal. If all your friends work out, you're going to find working out a lot more attractive.
Law number 3 might be the most important one for actually getting things done. It targets the response, the actual action. And the law is make it easy. It's just human nature, right? We're kind of lazy. We are wired to take the path of least resistance. So you have to use that to your advantage. Reduce the friction. Decrease the number of steps between you and the good habit. The idea is to make getting started so incredibly simple that it's easier to do it than to not do it.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, law number 4. This closes the loop and makes sure you come back for more. You have to make it satisfying.
Here's the thing about our brains. They want a cookie, and they want it now. They love immediate rewards. Good habits, though, often have delayed rewards. So you have to find a way to give yourself a little win right away. A habit tracker is perfect for this. Every time you check off that box, it's a little hit of dopamine. It feels good, and it creates a chain you won't want to break. And that leads to a golden rule. Never miss twice. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new bad habit. And what's so cool about this whole system is that it works in reverse, too. If you want to break a bad habit, you just flip the 4 laws. You make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. So if you're trying to stop mindlessly scrolling on your phone, don't just rely on willpower. Leave your phone in another room. That makes the habit invisible and difficult. Problem solved. Okay, so we've got the 4 laws. That's a lot to take in. It might feel a little overwhelming, but there's one single technique that pulls it all together and makes it something you can start doing like right now. It's called the 2-minute rule, and it's the key to making things easy. The 2-minute rule is honestly a game changer. The entire idea is just to master the art of showing up. You take whatever habit you want to build and you scale it down until it takes less than 2 minutes to do. So run a marathon becomes go for a 30-minute run, which then becomes your gateway habit. Put on my running shoes. That's the new habit. The goal isn't to run, it's just to put on your shoes. Read 50 books a year becomes read 1 page. You can't say no to that. So in the end, that's the whole secret, isn't it? These tiny atomic changes are what create those remarkable results, but only when you build them on a solid system. The journey doesn't start with some giant leap of faith. It starts with one tiny step, one that's too small to fail. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. What's your 2-minute habit?